Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK Journey video. In this video, we're going to be showcasing Shemira in Dream Realm as well as AFK stages. I've pushed the AFK stages so that we're at a reasonable level where we can actually see her true potential. And also I've done some Dream Realm testing with the top teams like in Thalassa, which are the OD Ludovic team. And I'm comparing it to Shemira and Ludovic together rather than the OD. And I want to show you guys the results of that. We'll take a look at the replay as well. Now don't mind the score you see here. These are not accurate scores. We're going to actually take a look at the damage report to see how much the team actually did. So this team was my top scoring Shemira team. And Shemira did a very high amount of damage, 41.5 billion damage. I gave everyone their optimal charms. We do think blast charms are going to be the best on Shemira. And Ludovic had 27.8 billion damage and Smokey had 12.6 billion, which is not bad. And definitely Shemira is doing more damage basically than any single hero can in Thalassa. If we compare it to like my top score I got with the OD comp, I believe this is my top one, and 36.8 billion from OD, so like 5 billion lower damage compared to Shemira. But the Ludovic and the Smokey ended up dealing more damage, and so overall the team score was very similar between my top Shemira run and my top OD run, so I can't really say which one is actually better. The Lasso also has a lot of RNG, you guys are probably aware of that, but this is an interesting first look at the testing of Shemira for Dream Realm. So we're going to take a look at the replay, and you're going to see her in action. So Shemira is probably, honestly, best geared towards this Thalassa boss, because the Thalassa boss, only ranged heroes can be brought in, so it gives Shemira a better chance of actually being usable. Also, there are multiple enemies, even her tentacles, and Shemira's ultimate can attack multiple enemies at the same time and get a lot of value from that. And so I'm thinking maybe even potentially Plague Creeper could be a boss where Shemira could have some use. So why is Shemira doing so much damage? What is so good about her? It is the fact that she has true damage on her skill tree and also true damage on her ultimate ability if you have her exclusive equipment unlocked, and at plus 10 level of that exclusive equipment, it will then add basically bonus true damage on each one of these ghosts that she summons during her ultimate cast. Now, the problem with Shemira and why she's better at AoE damaging enemies is that once she casts 15 ghosts onto the same target, her damage is going to be reduced on further ghosts locking onto that same target. And so until she is able to cast her ultimate again, and that is going to reset the count, and then another 15 are going to be dealing their maximum damage. But the problem is when she casts her ultimate, if you've noticed it here, so 85 billion damage, which is a good score. But even the OD comp got around 85 billion damage as well. But the thing is that when she casts her ultimate, because she doesn't just launch her ghost at the opponent or the boss, they keep cycling through her and bouncing back on the boss and continuously. And so she is very soon going to have more than 15 ghosts attacking onto the boss before she's able to cast her ultimate again. And then those further ghosts have their damage reduced by 50%. So that is kind of the issue with her. However, if she's able to cycle her ultimate enough, then she can still be able to recycle and reset that count. But basically, there's still going to be some damage reduction in boss fights, especially if there's only one single enemy target. But the twins are the best ally for Shemira for that reason, giving the energy refund on ultimate cast. It is very important for her to have that. So she did well. However, is she better than OD? That is yet to be decided. Honestly, from my testing, they both did about the same in their optimal team lineup. And I know the OD comp can even hit 95 billion damage with perfect RNG. Okay, so let's move on to the AFK stages. I first want to show you guys. So in the record formations, we have people using Shemira to clear them. And here, for example, we can take a look at the damage breakdown, and Shemira is contributing good damage. However, the thing with Shemira is for AFK stages, she doesn't offer crowd control, she doesn't offer debuffs like Bonnie's debuff, so all her use is going to be in her damage output. She is only here as a raw damage deal for AFK stages, and the question is that enough? Now, she is doing more damage than Faramore, which is good. But Faramore also has the HP recovery block, right? And so Shemira doesn't have that. She's even doing more damage than Tassi, which is good because Tassi has a blast charms, and definitely she is doing a lot of damage at with those charms. Another one I want to show you right here is going to be, for example, now we have another team not using the Shemira, but using Bonnie instead. And this one, Bonnie did 4.6 billion damage, and she only has purple charms, or like purple and some red charms. She doesn't even have her Mythic Plus charms. And so, like, looking at this, you're like, well, is Shemira actually the best damage dealer for AFK stages? Like, Lorison doing massive damage, and then also Bonnie. And they don't even have a full optimal charm set or anything like that. So this really makes you question, is Shemira actually the best damage dealer as a file member? Because that's her only role. That would be her only role for AFK stages. But that being said, we're going to run this team because it will give you an idea of what Shemira is actually doing in these AFK stages. So you'll need to have a crowd controller on your team, and Tossie is one of the best examples of that. Pheromore is great for increasing the damage that all of your team can deal to enemies within the magic circle, and also deny them HP healing. Now Shemira is just going off. She's summoning all of her ghosts at all the enemies, and because is split among 5 enemies, she's guaranteed to have basically maximum damage output onto each of the 5 enemies, and then when you're getting close to that 15 mark onto that enemy of taking 15 ghosts, then she's going to cast her ultimate again, and the count is going to reset. And that is why I think Shemira really shines for AoE when there are multiple enemy targets, because then she's guaranteed to basically get off her maximum damage output, and then she can cast her ultimate again and reset the count, and keep dealing her maximum damage from her ultimate. So here it goes pretty well. 38 seconds left, and now there's only one enemy who's just really tanky and difficult to kill. Now we have the Pheromore magic circle down, preventing any HP recovery. And Shemira's, all of her ghosts are going at the opponent here. And you're seeing, yeah, I mean, the damage is good, but it isn't necessarily anything game-breaking. Like, when you see this damage, you're still, like, a little bit worried. Are we going to clear it in time? Are we actually going to do it? Because this is the thing. Shemira's damage is good. However, it is going to be limited after 15 ghosts are onto that same enemy before she can recast her ultimate. And you're seeing here, it bounces back, and like, you're probably hitting the target up to 25 to 30 times. We do get the kill with 1 second left, so like, honestly, not very convincing. But take a look at the damage output. Yeah, Shemira did a lot, 77 or 7.7 billion damage. That is a huge amount, but she was basically firing off for the entire fight, pushing herself to the maximum potential. And we didn't have Tossie charms. That's why we had more difficulty with this stage compared to the people we watched in the replay. Okay, let's try another stage over here with the same comp lineup. We'll go for it. Yeah, so definitely there is no question Shemira's damage is good for AFK stages, but I'm just not sure, is it going to be enough? And that is the thing I'm the most worried about, because as a pure damage dealer for AFK stages, it isn't looking great, to be honest. Like, she's kind of in that Lorison role, to be honest. Lorison is also kind of like a pure damage dealer nuker for high-level AFK stages. He offers a bit of debuffs, like I think haste debuff with his ultimate, but other than that, he doesn't really offer anything of... And he offers some healing to your whole team. Shemira offers only healing to herself. So I guess that's the difference between them. But I don't know. I think the problem is, and this is something people are already worried about, because Shemira is just a hard-hitting damage carry. That's basically her only role. That makes her susceptible to being power crept, because heroes which are just used for damage don't offer any unique effect, any unique buff for your team, any unique debuffs on the enemies. She's basically a very self-reliant hero. She doesn't improve the team's performance, and she doesn't help. Yeah, and she basically is needing to carry everything on her own, and that is not the best. And that's why I still feel like, as of right now, Bonnie seems to be the better hero for AFK stages, because Bonnie has damage, Bonnie has debuffs, which can help keep your team alive in the AFK stage, and Bonnie has stuns, right, with her ultimate. Shemira doesn't have any stuns. Everything is just damage. It's all about damage, and I don't know if that's enough. So we're actually seeing a pretty good example here, though. One good thing about Shemira is that she has the ability to solo, potentially. Like, if she has enough, like, shielding, and she has enough recovery from her ultimate, she can actually act as a tank. And even though Pheromore died early in the stage, Shemira is still going to clean it up. And that is one thing about Shemira, which is good. I think that... Okay, whoa, what was that? I need to see the damage report here. 10.5, okay, this is actually pretty crazy. 10.5 billion damage for AFK stages. Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say. Her damage definitely is there for AFK stages, but she is just a damage dealer. But she's a damage dealer that can also solo, like when all of the rest of your team dies. And that's one thing I want to see more. I want to see... I don't know how we can actually test it, but I want to have most of the team die and have Shemira just sitting there soloing, because she can do that. with all the healing she gets and the shielding from her exclusive equipment, she actually has that ability, once she gets going, to basically be unkillable by enemies who don't have that much burst. Now for PvP, I did some testing in PvP, and I'll show that to you guys as well. But I'm not very convinced about her PvP performance, because she is an she's an all or nothing hero. If she casts her ultimate, all well and good, you're going to have a massive damage nuke. And within 5 seconds or so, if you can survive for that long, you're probably going to clean up the enemy team. But the problem is, she's also easy to kill. Enemy Atalia's basically one-shot her. Lily May can also interrupt her. So there are issues with Shemira in that regard for PvP, and because she doesn't have her own survival mechanism, like you might think, oh, she has health recovery, she has a shield from exclusive equipment, that is not enough. Honestly, she can still be nuked through that. She doesn't have like invincibility proc like Tossie, for example, to keep her protected, and that is really holding her back, because even though she has insane damage output, she needs a lot of things to go right to actually get that value off. But looking at this, honestly, I am very impressed with Shemira for AFK stages. I think she's good and definitely a solid hero, but I just don't know. Is she going to be meta for a lot of stages? Is this damage like actually required, or is it better to have another debuffer in there? And like we saw in some of the replays, that if you have like a well-charmed up Tossie ends up dealing like 3 billion damage and Shemira ends up dealing less damage. Kind of the reason Shemira is dealing so much damage in our comps is because my other heroes don't have charms on them. And so, like, it's just Shemira with her blast charms carrying everything. Also, Shemira has a very good charm set this season. Increasing her ultimate damage after the energy has been recovered by 900. That is massive, because a lot of her damage is just from her ultimate alone. And then the blast charms, but she'll get blast charms every season, so that you don't have to worry about. So overall, yeah, I mean, Shemira is looking good. Now what I want to show you is duel. We have I did a couple of duel matches, and then we had some regular arena matches. I want to see what is going to be happening here. Okay, so we attacked into Krull, and I attacked him with our Shemira. This is we're on our side. And so watch this. Now Shemira's able to cast her ultimate because the opponent didn't have enough firepower to nuke her. And now with this ultimate, is basically just gonna make my Athalia's job a lot easier of assassinating the entire team. Boom, is game over within 9 seconds into the match. So she does ult fast, but the thing is, don't think. And also, there's a charm disadvantage, right? We have blast charms on Shemira. They have no charms on any of their team. So even though we're in duel and we're playing like non-seasonal without faction talent tiles, the problem is that I still have the charms, because the charms are still usable here. But yeah, like look at the Shemira damage. If she doesn't get nuked, but the opponent didn't have Athalia, the problem is when the opponent has Athalia, things are a lot worse. Comparing it to Cryanaya, so we again have a team attacking into Cryanaya, and Shemira, watch the clock. We just have to, okay, Siren's gonna buy time by ulting and controlling the enemies. Shemira's gonna cast at 7 seconds into the match, and now that bombardment of ghosts is gonna kill basically everything and help Athalia just get her job done quicker. But honestly, Shemira didn't really do anything in this match. It was basically Siren and Athalia doing everything. Shemira didn't do that much. Okay guys, moving on to some arena matches where I was able to test Shemira. The first thing I want to show to you is someone using Shemira against me to be a really strong meta defense that I'm currently running in the regular arena. So watch this. You're gonna see, so the green side is basically the Shemira side. Shemira almost dies from my Athalia, but Shemira survives, right? And I have Dunling on my team, but somehow Shemira survives long enough, has a big shield, now she casts her ultimate, and it's basically GG for me. If you can protect the Shemira long enough, whether it be from Ludovic healing like we have here, maybe Twins Stellar Bond for stats, then Shemira can clean up the opposing team and even defeat the strongest of teams, even the Athalia nuking comps, which is an interesting idea, and it's pretty consistent. This consistently was beating me. Basically Bonnie, Ludovic, Shemira, and then Twins and Feresto. Very interesting lineup, actually. And yeah, okay, but I want to show you some attacks when I was using Shemira and just not quite able to get the job done. So watch it here. We have Shemira, and we have Athalia, Tillian, like basically a very strong comp, but the opponent has Athalia, and boom. It's gonna basically burst through my whole team, and Shemira is gonna go down before she's able to cast her, or she does cast her ultimate, but it is a bit too late at this point, because she's almost dead and my whole team is basically dead right now. Yeah, and then she goes down very quickly. So if the opponent has enough nuking power and you don't protect, like, allow Shemira to get off her ultimate, that is a problem. But we saw a really good example of how to deal with that is by running Ludovic with the Shemira, like we saw in that replay, beating my defense, and also maybe running Fresto for damage reduction or Stellar Bond Twins. So here again, my Shemira is gonna die, right, before she's even able to cast her ultimate. And again, we're running a strong comp, but it's just that if you don't have healing for Shemira, she's in trouble. So what I want to do now is I want to attack, if we can find another player, I want to try attacking with Ludovic Shemira combo, because I really feel like that is going to be the way to go with her, because you need to keep her alive and protected. That is very important. So we can go for like a Bonnie Shemira type comp. We can go for the twins as well. And then as a final hero, we go for Tailian. Tailian is a good ally because she takes some damage, and that is going to power up basically summoning the ghost of Shemira. We want to have Shemira next to Ludovic for the healing. I think this positioning should be fine. Oh no, we can go for something like this. Okay. Let's see what happens here. So we have a lot of healing. Hopefully that is enough to keep the Shemira alive. Good with the shielding and the Ludovic healing. Yeah, it's actually going to be tough to kill Shemira through the Ludovic healing. But the twins go down, she still gets nuked and she still gets burst. So this is the thing. If you can protect your Shemira, all well and good, and get off her ultimate, she can probably clean up the enemy team. But if the opponent has massive damage from the beginning, like Athalia, Lily May, you're in a bit of trouble. So overall, hopefully this gives you a decent idea of Shemira, her uses in the different game modes. If anything else comes out in the next few days, we will do more videos about this. But let me know what you guys think about Shemira in the comment section. Hopefully this was helpful. And we'll also see. We don't know. This is a Pioneer server. So keep in mind, the content is subject to change by the time it comes out onto the actual official servers. And we will have to see. Is Shemira going to remain the same? Are there going to be changes to her kit by the time, like numbers, when she gets to VN? We'll have to see. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, please smash that subscribe button. And thank you guys for the support. Also, feel free to join my AFK Journey Discord server to chat with me more. There's a link to that in the description of this video. But thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video. And until then, everyone, peace out for now.